Tony George. I'm Scott Spreitzer. We are DocSports.com. We're talking Saturday college baskets, a little SEC Big 12 Challenge. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Hey, first quick note, if you have yet to become a member over at DocSports.com and just want to give it a trial run, real cool way to do so. You click on the link below the video in that description box. Get yourself set up for a free $60 account. Use those free $60 on any of his daily packages, any of my daily packages, or anybody else on the roster over at DocSports.com. It is as simple as that. Let's talk Kentucky at Texas Tech. Roughly the line's going to be, because they're not out yet, is going to be Texas Tech about a 3-point favorite or so. At least that's what the power ratings are calling for. Here's the thing. You've got Kentucky. They lost 4 of their first 16 games. There was some mild panic, in the home state of Kentucky and around Lexington. But, of course, John Calipari does what he does. They've won the last 2. They'll be in the mix come March. Now, as far as Texas Tech is concerned, you got Chris Beard doing a fantastic job. Hate giving him credit after what he did to UNLV a couple years ago. But anyway, he's doing a fantastic job with a lot of newbies on the roster.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're at the level of Kentucky quite yet, and I don't think they're there this year. I think it's going to be a season away for them. They're going to challenge a lot of teams. They're going to upset some teams along the way. But again, it's not quite as good as last year's Texas Tech team. And one of the things that jumped out to me big time, that home loss to a very good Baylor team who's going to be in the mix, is that Baylor had 6 assists. That was it, 6 assists. They committed 18 turnovers in Lubbock. Tony, they still won the game against Texas Tech. I think Kentucky's the right side here.
Yeah, the last thing I remember about Texas Tech was I had them as a premium play, and TCU was beating the piss out of them. And speaking of that, and the other thing I remember about the Big 12, Scott, was the Kansas Boxing Club on display against K-State. But we'll talk about that another day here. You hit the nail on the head. Talked about the loss to Baylor. Let's talk about the losses that Texas Tech has had, because it's been to anybody that was good except Louisville. They beat on a neutral floor in a big shocker. Let me go down the list here. Creighton, DePaul, Baylor, Iowa, West Virginia. The only quality win was Louisville. And I'll tell you what, Kentucky's got too much for them. As Scott said, Calipari's doing his thing. Start out a little rough, break the newbies in, start teaching them, and as the season progresses, there they are, a 2, 3, or 4 seed in the NCAA tournament and vying for an SEC title here. I've got this power rated at Kentucky -1, and that is with a 2-point road adjustment, Scott. And like you said, I think this line is going to come out somewhere between 2.5, 3, maybe there for Texas Tech. So if you got Kentucky catching points here, Scott, I think that's the only way to look.
And I think you will. I mean, you had Kentucky getting a deuce, getting 2 at Arkansas not too long ago, so I'm not going to be shocked to see Texas Tech laying around 3-ish in this one. Real quick, last note on this for me. Listen, Kentucky doesn't have that guy who's going to score 25 or 30, but they got 4 guys averaging 13 points per game apiece, and I think what you're going to see is just a little bit too much out of Kentucky on the offensive end, and they pull out the outright win on the road over Texas Tech.
I agree with you, and Kentucky's probably got a little bit better bench, too, in terms of talent, if it comes down to that. For everything you need to know about college basketball, about the upcoming Super Bowl, about NHL, about NBA, right there. Get over to DocSports.com. Take advantage of that free $60. Thanks for tuning in.